The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne is the first book in the Bloodsworn saga. It just says the Bloodsworn. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or what. There's 2 books out so far. Third one is coming out in October. This is the same author as the Faithful and the Fallen series and its follow-up trilogy of Blood and Bone. This one is not set in the same universe as The Faithful and the Fallen or of Blood and Bone. This one is its own thing. This is a Norse-inspired fantasy. So if you have ever dreamed of life as a Viking, this is the one. And Gwynne does know his stuff. He is a Viking reenactor. So all the little details, like the descriptions of the clothing, the food, the taking care of the weapons, what it's like to get the armor on and take it back off, how it feels when you're wearing it, even down to like the daily habits of the people in the story are all so realistic feeling, and it adds to the atmospheric feel of the book. You feel like you are living the Viking life along with the characters. It makes you feel like you're part of it. Now, I might say that there's almost too much description. All those descriptions make it really easy to visualize the world and the characters. I felt like there was too much when it came to describing each character's appearance. How each of them wore their hair, the color of clothing, what type of weapons were on their belt. As we were getting towards the end, I kind of felt like I didn't need every character described to that level anymore. I get the idea of how the people in this world dress. It could be more vague and shorter, and I would get it. This story takes place in the land of Vigrid, a place where the gods have fought a big, large-scale war. This is hundreds of years later, but the land still shows the scars of that war, and the legacy of these gods is in the people in the land, or at least some of them. There are people called tainted. These are people that have the blood of the old gods in their veins, and they're kind of almost like werewolf-like. So just by looking at them, you can't tell that they are a tainted human. But under stress, like if they're fighting or being attacked or going into fight or flight mode or whatever, they transform just a little. So not like a werewolf where it's fully from human to an animalistic form, but some of those characteristics of the animal from which their blood is from comes out. So like sharper teeth, better vision, better smell, better senses overall, some strength. And these people are considered far lesser. They're the bottom of society. They're usually enslaved, usually controlled, or hunted down, either to be sold as a slave or just to be killed. They are not treated with equality. I feel like in another type of story or another type of world, the word tainted could be changed to the word blessed. We have the blood of gods in our veins. But in this world, no, it's a bad thing. You are tainted. This book is not very plot heavy. It's more about the characters you're following. There are 3 main point of view characters in here. We have Elvar, a young woman who's part of a group called the Battle Grim. Basically her group of Viking-like people. They're not called Vikings in here. It's Norse-inspired. It's not actually on Earth. She is on a quest to find her battle fame, to prove her strength and her worth. She is followed by an old warrior named Grend, who follows her everywhere, watches over her, maybe a little too protective. She's earning her battle fame. She is a strong and capable woman. She doesn't need him peering over her shoulder, but they also have a good relationship. She doesn't hold it against him, and he does allow her to fight and prove herself without like interfering, controlling her, but it makes him worried. He wants to step in. And then there's Bjor, the younger warrior, who also follows Elvar around, and Grend is not too happy about it. Makes for kind of a few humorous scenes here and there. The second point of view character is Varg. The pronunciation guide only tells me how to pronounce the J's, so I'm going to assume V is still V, and his name is Varg, not Warg. He was a thrall, which is what they call slaves in this world, and he is on the run. He is trying to find vengeance for his sister. And part of the vengeance he's trying to find is through magic. There's people who can do magic that he's trying to find to perform some kind of magical ceremony for him to help him get his vengeance. He's also really on a journey to prove himself, and he is really trying to embrace the new life that he has. And he's kind of torn between sticking to his path of vengeance and this other path that he feels like he's being pulled along on, and whether he's going to choose to keep going in that direction or not. And then, third point of view character is Orca, a strong woman, wife of Thorkel, mother of Brekka. Those are the three characters we start the book with. She loves her husband and her son dearly, and she is very capable of fighting for them, which we get to see in here in some pretty graphic scenes. So there's also this self-named queen. Every town or village has their own leader called the Jarl, and this woman is trying to say that she is like the main Jarl in charge of all the other Jarls. She wants to be the queen. She wants to lead the country in the name of defense and protection. You swear your loyalty to me and my armies will protect you. That's how they get ya. Orca's family and a lot of the other people in their village are not too happy with that. They can see the road this is going to go down. So the queen almost has to like prove that the danger is real and that her queenhood is worth it. So she's trying to expand her territory, trying to get control. And then there's these children who keep going missing. So I said this book doesn't seem very plot heavy. The queen and the children going missing are part of the overarching plot of the book, but the book really isn't about that. It's really about those three characters and following them along and seeing how they respond to what's going on in the world. We, the reader, get to follow along with these three people, Orca, Varg, and Elvar, and experience the world from their point of view. We get to see their journeys, we get to see their character growth, and the plot is like just there for the characters to have something to do. It's almost like cozy fantasy, almost like slice of life fantasy, but it's a little more grim. It's a little more brutal. There's lots of fighting, there's lots of blood. So it feels weird to say cozy, brutal fantasy in the same book, but that's kind of how I felt. I felt like I wanted to sit and drink my drink and eat my snack, and then there would be a really bloody part. So the plot is happening. It was not resolved in this book, so we are going to need to go into the second and third and however many more there are going to be. But the book was really about the people living in the world, living their lives, dealing with enemies, fighting for gold and glory. We see them traveling, sailing the seas, fighting the fae creatures that live in the world, called Vaesen. There is lots of blood, no spice. I'm going to say this is not appropriate for a younger audience, or if a lot of blood and gore bothers you. It had kind of one of the same things that bothered me about The Faithful and the Fallen. Not that there were too many similar characters. Although, I will say, there are two bands of Viking-like groups, the Battlegrim and the Bloodsworn. And those two groups felt very similar. The two leaders felt very similar. And sometimes I got a little confused about which group I was following. But the thing that I was like, ugh, he did it in this book too, was how when a character is in danger, like serious danger, like they're going to die, he lowers the stakes to where after that happens a few times, you're like, okay, do I even worry about what's going to happen to this character now? And there are characters who die. So you don't know if they're going to make it out or not. But at some point you have to worry how much you should be invested in a character. Are they going to be miraculously saved this time? Are they just gonna die suddenly? You don't know. As I read this, I was also filming a reading vlog for it. That one should come out in a couple of weeks, which gives you time to read this. So when you watch the reading vlog, you won't care about all the spoilers that will be in it. The third book comes out in October, so that should be plenty of time to read this one and the second one before that third one comes out. After this, you can watch my review of The Faithful and the Fallen series. I will link Gwynne's website, the cover artist for this book, because isn't that amazing? That's beautiful. And my Patreon will also be linked in the description. I hope the review was helpful, and happy reading. Bye.